It's funny how baseball quickly forgets who carried the piano when the roof was caving in. Last year, when our rotation looked like a field hospital and the season threatened to swirl down the drain in the middle of summer, Eric Lauer showed up. He was solid, he was consistent, he delivered exactly what we needed to keep our heads above water. But then the calendar flips, the big names arrive, the money talks louder, and suddenly, the guy who saved the day becomes a roster logistics problem. The mood in Dunedin isn't great, and it's not hard to understand why. We're watching a 7-year veteran coming off the best B-WAR of his career get pushed to the side because the top shelf got too crowded. Lauer posted a 2.2 B-WAR, a personal best, with that 3.18 ERA over more than 100 innings. On paper, he's the dream for any team that needs depth. For the Blue Jays right now, he looks like nothing more than a financial and tactical inconvenience. The reality is blunt. Lauer lost his arbitration case. He wanted one number. The Jays dug in at $1.35 million less and won. That leaves a scar. Nobody likes hearing from their employer, behind closed doors, that you're not worth what you think you are. And his comments last week were a clear sign the honeymoon ended before opening day even arrived. He doesn't want the bullpen. He doesn't want to be the luxury plug-and-play arm who comes in during the 6th inning when the starter implodes. He sees himself as a starter, and honestly, his numbers back that up. But look at this rotation. Dylan Cease, Kevin Gausman, Trey Yesavich, Cody Ponce, Jose Barrios. Where does Lauer fit? He doesn't. He's a luxury 6th man on a team already eyeing an extension with Max Scherzer. And this is where it gets messy. If the Scherzer rumor becomes reality in the coming days, Lauer's space in Toronto simply disappears. Mitch Bannon over at The Athletic said what everyone at the Rogers Center already suspects. The path is a trade, a change of scenery, the classic euphemism for a guy who's unhappy and a team that doesn't want to deal with the tension in the clubhouse. Having too many pitchers is a good problem to have, of course. Better to have excess than shortage, especially in a sport with this kind of medical history. But the line between roster depth and public dissatisfaction is razor thin. And what if the Jays are being overly optimistic about the health of the other 5? The risk isn't talent, it's ego management and contract management. Lauer costs $4.4 million. In today's market, that's pocket change for a lefty delivering a sub-3.2 ERA. Teams like the Minnesota Twins and the Atlanta Braves are already feeling the sting of spring injuries. They're looking at Dunedin right now, waiting for us to admit there's no room for Lauer. But let's pause for a second, because there's a detail here that changes everything. We're acting like Lauer is expendable because there are shinier names ahead of him. But who guarantees Yesavich can handle the pressure of a full season, or that Ponce will maintain his level? The Toronto Blue Jays have a historical habit of moving dependable support pieces to bet on star power, and then we spent August praying some AAA call-up doesn't give up 5 runs per game. Lauer didn't do anything wrong. The team didn't do anything wrong pursuing Scherzer or Bieber last year. It's just that the chemistry expired. When you displace a guy who was essential to the bullpen down the stretch, you're telling him exactly where he stands in the hierarchy. He felt it. And now, after the arbitration loss, the bucket has fully tipped over. If Ross Atkins holds on to Lauer through the end of spring training with everyone healthy, his trade value only rises as other teams grow more desperate. But the cost is carrying a dissatisfied player. Canadian fans know this script well. We value guys who compete, who give their arm for the team. Lauer did that last summer. Watching him leave through a side door, maybe for a mid-tier prospect or simple payroll relief, would leave a bitter taste. The core question isn't whether he's good enough. It's that he's become a luxury Toronto doesn't seem willing to manage emotionally. That $4.4 million contract is extremely trade-friendly. The Twins needing an arm, the Braves wanting stability, the line of interested teams will be long. But think about this. What if we trade Lauer tomorrow and Gausman's elbow flares up the next week? What's left? Do we go back to being the team that has to improvise bullpen days twice a week? It's a dangerous balance. An excess of starters is only a problem until the first pop or the first inflammation. Lauer wants a guaranteed role. Toronto wants flexibility and a high ceiling. Those two things no longer live in the same house. The script Hill's written. If Scherzer signs the extension, Lauer packs his bags. It'll be a cold business move, very much in line with the current front office's style. What remains to be seen is what we get in return, because losing a 3.18 ERA insurance policy for almost nothing, just to clear the clubhouse of a dissatisfaction the club itself created by not valuing him in arbitration, sounds like a miscalculation that could prove costly in October. What do you prefer? The security of a veteran who's already proven he can handle the Rogers Center, or betting that our starting 5 will stay perfectly healthy for 162 games? Let's talk in the comments. If Lauer leaves, I hope the return is worth losing our best safety net.